So let me ask, in 2013, you won the US Pastry Chef of the Year. How did you get there so fast right after graduation? That was a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah, luckily, um, I worked at a place, Pre-Jill America. It was just north of Charlotte in Concord, and it was a pastry and ice cream manufacturing facility, and we did a lot of R&D there, and we also taught a lot of classes there on pastry. And I had the fortunate opportunity to work with a lot of great pastry chefs. Frederic Monti, Laurent Brenlard, Stefan Trion. We're talking like MOFs from France. And in that 3 years that I was there, I had the opportunity just to learn from some of the best pastry chefs in the country and the world, because they were constantly coming in, teaching classes. And I luckily had a mentor, Frederic Monti, who was one of the more challenging pastry chefs I've ever worked with in my life. But, for all the hard times and grief he gave me, he also pushed me to excel and to be better. And I had every resource at my disposal. If I wanted to pull sugar, Fred would say pull sugar. He might go behind me and say it looks horrible, but it would made me strive to be better. So nothing was ever good enough for him, and it was very stressful. But man, I tell you, at the end of the day, I look back on it, and if it wouldn't have been for those couple of years there working for him, being under pressure, being under stress, thinking that I wasn't going to be good enough, I probably wouldn't have been. I mean, he really helped mold and shape me into that competition platform that was needed to win that. I just had scored the perfect job at the time, and I was willing to learn and put in the time and energy. It was about a year there where I didn't take a weekend off. I basically went to work and I pulled sugar or worked with chocolate, or just whatever I could do. At the time though, I just had got married. I didn't have any kids, and I was at that point where I could do that, and I seized that moment to really put the time in. And I had, luckily, my wife at the time to say, why are you home on Saturday? You need to be at work practicing. And
Wow.
she would basically push me out the door, like, hey, you need to go. If you're going to do this, you need to do it. So I talk about stress, and that's one of the things, putting yourself in that stressful situation, and seeing if you'll rise to the top. That's what really will take you from being kind of mediocre, good, but mediocre, to really excelling yourself really quickly. That, and my circle was really small, and I only surrounded myself with people that did pastry. When I left work and I went and hung out with my buddies that were coworkers, we didn't talk about football or sports. We talked about pastry. I went to bed thinking about pastry. I woke up thinking about pastry. If I did a YouTube search, it was on pastry. I really just engulfed my life in it for about 3 years. And if you do that and you sacrifice that little bit of your life, you can get very good very quick. But a lot of people don't want to sacrifice that little bit of their life. They want their weekend. They want their personal time. And those are the things you kind of have to give up if you want to get good really quick. But then you go back later and you have free time and you have personal time.
Yeah. So it's a total immersion, right? It's like, really time on task and just be there.